This particular film, I did not know what the speed was going to be, and that terrified me. So what I did is I structured it into an improvisation that is separated by about 22 individual violin pieces. And what I do is I improvise in between those pieces and then set up, based on what's going on in the movie, I set up the tempo and the key and the meter, and then give Nikki an introduction, and then she, at the appropriate time, jumps in with the violin, and then there's a set piece of music that's been written.
Humoresque is one of those pieces that I learned. I played it when I was younger without knowing its meaning really, and then studying it again in university about what the actual impact of American music on Dvorak, who's coming from the Eastern Bloc of Europe, and how much the blues really influenced him, and how much of that American music, or what his understanding of American music meant to him. So, playing it now, I have a better sense of what Humoresque is, as from a perspective of the violinist when they transcribed it for solo violin, which wasn't done, and it's definitely something I've grown into now.
Yeah, it's interesting too. The Dvorak piece, the famous piece Humoresque, the one that goes dun 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 that we use for this. She hit on something that's really important. It's based on American song forms, and it's with Dvorak. His New World Symphony, he uses American song forms as well.
Right.
But Humoresque is clearly American ABA song form. So that was kind of interesting as a revelation. From a performer standpoint, you have to be really fast on your feet, and you have to, especially as an accompanist and as a solo accompanist who sometimes doesn't get to see the film at all, you have to be able to read the film. The second something hits the screen, you have to figure out there's a gun there and there's a knife there, and the audience might not see that, but you have to be a master at scanning a picture and figuring out what's next. And that's probably the most important skill set. It's just being alert and being on your toes and always thinking ahead. You have to think. You might be playing a romantic scene now, but there's going to be a villain coming in. Otherwise, you don't have a movie. So you're always anticipating, and as an accompanist and as a composer, you're trying to figure out what key am I in? Like if I'm in A flat and the villain comes in, I want to be in F minor, but I might want to be in D minor. Now, how do I get from A flat to D minor? Well, I do that through an E7 chord going to an A7 chord and then there to B flat, and I'm in D minor. That's the stuff that goes on in your head when you're playing and when you're composing too. But a lot of this is improvisational tonight. So that's the kind of stuff that goes in my head. It's like I'm in F minor and Nikki's got a cue coming up in A major in less than 5 seconds, and I've got to shift into 3 different keys before then get into the. So it's the skill set for me as an accompanist is speed. Like how fast can I think?
A lot of it has to do with timing, and a lot of people don't have that kind of timing. I think, and there takes a lot more concentration than as opposed to sitting in a studio session. You have a few times to make that take. We have one shot at this. And you have to go for an hour 10, longer, and you have to keep the concentration up. I think that is one of those drawbacks for a lot of musicians, because they can't focus for extended periods of time, where you have to be able to think, bars, measures, cues ahead.